Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin charts for today, starting on this 4-hour time frame for Bitcoin, because currently we are still in this uptrend, although we are now starting to see the price cool off a little bit after being in overbought territory for quite a while on this 4-hour time frame. So now that we are in this short-term downtrend, let's take a look at some of the important levels of support and resistance that you could be paying attention to right now. First of all, I think we should pay attention to this ascending trend line on the 4-hour time frame, where if we actually break below this ascending trend line right here, for example, then it is very likely that we come down to this 0.786 Fibonacci level, sitting at about 65.6K for the Bitcoin price. However, as far as I'm concerned, so long as we are trading above this ascending trend line here, we are basically still just in an uptrend. And of course, sometimes you need to see the price cool off a little bit, especially after such a violent move to the upside over the last couple of days. So in general, on the lower time frames, I would say pay attention to this trend line. And on the little bit higher time frames, you could also look towards this 0.786 Fibonacci level again at 65.6K. Because if we lose this as a level of support, then likely I think we are retesting this Fibonacci golden pocket, sitting from about 62.7K all the way down to 62,000 US dollars. And if we take a look at the 1-day time frame for Bitcoin, you can see that we are currently in the process of basically breaking out of this descending channel, because we have been in this descending channel for about 7 months and are now finally breaking out of the descending channel. So far what I'm seeing on this 1-day time frame is simply a breakout above, and then currently in the process of retesting it before another potential resumption to the upside. Now, I don't want to be too extremely bullish. And of course, if I see the price really falling back inside this range here that was previous resistance, and just losing some critical levels of support right now, then obviously I have to flip more bearish once again. However, something that is actually quite different this time that we are actually breaking out compared to previous times here is that right now we aren't really seeing any divergences in the charts. So for example, on the 1-day time frame here, we had an equal high in the Bitcoin price, but we had a lower high in the RSI. So this is a type of bearish divergence here. Now, if we look at it this time, here we have a higher high in the Bitcoin price, but at the same time, we also have a higher high in the RSI here on that 1-day time frame. So there is no divergence at all. This is simply just a higher high in a strong uptrend, right? So for now, I'm not really seeing any divergences or anything like that. And that is what I've been saying this entire way up here. Like, I'm not seeing any serious warning signals just yet. Even on this 4-hour time frame here, we have higher highs in the Bitcoin price. And then on the RSI, you could say that this is a horizontal high in the RSI, but even this high is just slightly above this one here. So if you just want to be bearish, then you could say that this is a horizontal high and therefore this is an exaggerated bearish divergence. But as far as I'm concerned, if you just take a look at this does not look like a horizontal high to me, because this peak right here is actually above this one. So therefore it isn't a divergence. We just have a higher high in the price and a higher high in the RSI. Although yes, of course, it wasn't too much above the other one, but it is a higher high nonetheless. Now, something else that is at play is that actually right here, we have this RSI in deep overbought territory. And you can see that the RSI is now basically resetting back down to around this 50 level here. So I think especially over the weekend, we are going to see this RSI kind of move further to the downside. In the case that you are not familiar with how the RSI actually resets, it is basically either by the price just trading sideways or getting a little bit of bearish momentum in the short term. But we will first have to wait and see how Friday actually plays out. One thing you can see right now on the 1-day time frame is that we broke above this previous level of resistance and immediately shot up into this next level of resistance here from 67.5K all the way up to 70,000 US dollars. So if we now see a rejection to the downside, we will likely fall into this next level below that, sitting from 66,000 all the way down to 65,000 US dollars, where we will have to wait and see if we actually find some support there. Next, moving on to the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. First of all, on this 1 year time frame, so this very long time frame here, and you can see that we just took out a big level of liquidity to the upside. We have still quite a bit of liquidity at that 72K level here. So I do think that this could be a potential price target for Bitcoin here sometime soon. However, zooming into the 2-week time frame, here you can see that we still have some liquidity to the upside at about 68.4K for the Bitcoin price. So these are people that have just opened up their short positions ever since this recent high here in the price. So potentially these people could still get punished for shorting Bitcoin here. However, there is now also some liquidity to the downside. For example, at 64.6K in the Bitcoin price, and even more liquidity at 62K for the Bitcoin price. These could be some potential price targets if we now start reversing further to the downside. Those big pockets of liquidity could be interesting levels to watch. Next, moving on to the Bitcoin ETF flow tables for today, we are seeing some massive inflows from these Bitcoin ETFs. We're talking about over $1 billion worth of inflows just in the last couple days here. Yeah, obviously this is having a massive upwards pressuring effect on the Bitcoin price. So as far as I'm concerned, we are still in a high time frame uptrend, for example, on the 1-day time frame, or you could even say on the 1-week time frame here. However, we could see some more chop first on the 4-hour time frame, or even a bit of bearish price action here as we are potentially getting rejected from this big level of resistance that I talked about earlier in the video. So that is just something to keep in mind. High time frame, we are still in an uptrend, but that doesn't mean that we cannot get bearish price action or just choppy sideways price action on the lower time frames. So do understand that there's a difference between the different time frames here. Either way, guys, this has been today's market update. Obviously, I'm still very sick, so again, my apologies that I couldn't upload yesterday. My voice was just not there yesterday, and today it's a little bit better. Regardless, come join the community. If you haven't already, you can find the link to that in the video description, and it is completely free. But even if you don't end up joining, thank you for watching this video once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.